to such a degree now that the back roads of Seneca and Cayuga County around the Finger Lakes are as much a part of who I am as the busy and bustling boulevards of Avenue U and Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn. The rolling dairy farms in Wyoming and St. Lawrence and Delaware counties are as deeply embedded in my brain as the bike path and fields in Prospect Park where I taught my daughters to throw a baseball. The fertile fruit fields of the Hudson Valley, the mysterious onion-filled black dirt of Orange County, are as imprinted in my mind as the perfectly manicured front yard with fig trees that Italian Americans in Marine Park are so very proud of, and the towering majesty of the North Country's Adirondack high peaks that are so beautiful as I fly in and out of that little strip of a landing field in Speculator, Hamilton County. Those mountains are as magical to me now as once were the towering high-rise apartment buildings and carnival games and rumbling roller coasters that line the beach at Coney Island. Man, I love New York. But it isn't just enough to know the state. You have to focus on the right issues, deliver real results for real New Yorkers. And the number one issue I hear about from your neighbors on my visits to Smithtown and Yonkers and Tonawanda and Staten Island and Cohoes and Harlem and Monticello and Watertown: jobs, the economy, stretching the middle-class paycheck. For April, our unemployment rate in our state was 8.8%. In many upstate and rural areas, for many African American and Latino communities, it is much, much worse. Now, we did take bold action at the national level to prevent the financial collapse from destroying the world economic system, and more action versus the Recovery Act, as was mentioned, to stave off, and we did. We would have had, without these actions, the Second Great Depression. Our emergency aid to states, and directly, as Nita mentioned, to counties like Westchester, Erie, and everywhere in between, from a provision I offered, helped stave off disastrous property tax hikes and mass layoffs at exactly the moment when those actions could have dragged the whole economy down the drain. And we did save the economy from the abyss. I do believe better days are ahead. Signs of stability and modest growth are happening in parts of our economy. But there are no laurels to rest on, because unemployment is still way too high. Lending is not picked up as much as it must to create the jobs we need to reduce unemployment. We can't just spend our way back to good health, and we certainly can't cut our way out of this hole. We have to grow our way out. That's the only way, that's the American way, that's the New York way. We have to make sure that every American that wants to go to college can go to college. In our increasingly competitive global economy, higher education has never been more important for earning power and development of marketable skills. And that's why I fought to include the college tuition tax credit in the stimulus package. $2,500 tax credit off your taxes to help defray the cost of tuition for every family who makes an income of below $200,000 a year. If you make above $200,000, God bless you. We must make sure our families can increase their savings and wealth. Over the course of the financial crisis, New Yorkers lost billions in home equity and retirement savings. We have to increase the opportunities to build back nest eggs so that starting a small business is no longer a distant dream. Comfortable retirement does not become a thing of the past. That's what I'm working on for you as your senator. A reality for more hardworking families by making it easier for small business loans, fighting for each child to be born with an automatic savings account. And finally, we have to make sure that America and New York is the world's center of innovation. No more turning our backs while high-paid manufacturing jobs get shipped to China. No more dragging our feet on clean energy production while Europe and Japan corner the market on fuel-efficient vehicles and technologies. No more educating the world's best and brightest and then send them home to open up companies abroad that directly compete and take jobs away from our people. As your senator, I'm hitting China where it hurts by pressuring them to stop manipulating their currency and disadvantaging all New York-made goods. I'm pushing for investments in U.S.-made windmills, clean energy, technology, fighting so that we can have hybrid fuel cell cars made in places like Rochester and Albany. And I'm working on reforming our immigration system so we keep the best minds here in New York to innovate and create job opportunities. We have to invest in both old infrastructure like roads and bridges and schools and water and sewer plants, and build new infrastructure like high-speed rail and high-speed statewide broadband, internet access for everybody. Finally, we have to creatively energize our lending institutions to get the resources to the small businesses that are the lifeblood of our New York economy, so they can be at the forefront. Well, how does this work in the real world? On a visit to Rochester a year ago, I met with labor leader Gary Bonadonna and a group of workers, including Deb Glinsky, from a company called Hickey Freeman, a Rochester icon. They're the very last manufacturer of quality men's suits in America, good-paying jobs for hundreds of people in that area, but they're the last. The workers were despondent. They were scared. The quality of work was world-class. The brand was impeccable. The company made money. And yet 500 of them were about to lose their good-paying jobs because their bank pulled their credit and they were going to go out of business. We said no. We jumped in feet first. We worked closely with the workers in the company. We told those lenders, when you needed help, the government was there for you. Now it's your obligation to help the workers of New York. We told it to the banks in Hickey Freeman, and we told it to the banks of Penn Traffic, and we told it to the banks in all the other areas. And now this great suit manufacturer, including Deb Glinsky, are doing what they do best right here in Rochester, and they're going to continue on for decades to come. And we can repeat that story over and over again. You know, when I go around the state, my friends, I meet with unemployed people. You should see them. I met with a lady in the suburbs of Rochester. She had worked for Xerox for decades. She was about 50. In 2008, she lost her job. She made a really good salary, $90,000, $100,000 a year, but she lost her job in 2008, and she was looking every day for a job, hadn't found one. A year and a half later, when I met her in 2010, she said to me, "Senator, every day I go online. Christmas morning," she said, "I woke up early and went online before I went to church because maybe I would find a job and no one else would be going online that day. I met a man named Clay, 6 kids. Wife couldn't work because they were raising the kids, 2 to 14 years old. Here's what he did. He got in his car Sunday night, went down to Virginia on Monday to look for a job, went to the Washington area on Tuesday, Baltimore Wednesday, Philadelphia Thursday, New York Friday, every day for 9 months, had not found a job.